So it was about 8 years ago or so that I was living in a really small apartment. We had almost no counter space. I'm sure you can imagine that. And so I was looking for a coffee maker that didn't take up much space on the counter and one that I could just put away if I needed to up in the cabinets to save some space. And what I ended up doing is buying an AeroPress, mainly just because I had heard a lot of good things about it, but also because it's just really affordable. And so I'd like to show you guys today how I use the AeroPress. One other thing that's really nice about it, besides being, slim and everything, is it's light too. Weighs only 233 grams, so super light. It stacks down, so you can put this in your backpack, and what's nice about it is you can take it with you if you're going camping or traveling. Just toss it in your backpack and you're good to go. Then all you need is hot water. So I'm just going to show you how I do a recipe, and I'm going to give you guys a couple of tips of what I've learned over the years of using the AeroPress. Just some simple tips. So anyway, it all kind of starts though with the water. You want to use good water. I generally use filtered water. Sometimes I also experiment a little bit. You can get yourself some distilled water and you can put some minerals in there yourself. So what I got here is a packet of third wave water that I've put in here. This is made for 2 liters, and what that does is it just puts in a precisely measured amount of minerals into your water. This one, for example, has got calcium citrate, sodium chloride, and magnesium sulfate. But anyway, what that does is it just puts those minerals in here and nothing else, so that you don't have to worry about scale buildup in your kettle. And also I feel like it gives a bit more of a crisp cup and also helps to bring out maybe a little bit more fruitiness. Yeah, anyway, so that's what we're going to be using for today's example. But back to the AeroPress. So what I like to do is, first of all, store my filters in here. So all I have to do is just pick one out, and the rest just stay in there through the friction from the sides. That's pretty nice. And sometimes I'll even use 2 of these filters, because that will help a little bit in the immersion process. I'm going to start warming up my water right away. And again, if you can see, there's not that much of a deposit of minerals on the bottom of my kettle because I am using this water here. So what I like about the AeroPress is that you don't have to use a fancy kettle. You can use a totally normal water kettle if you want. It's very simple to use. Anyway, I would also recommend normally using whole beans and grinding them yourself. I'm using generally these beans here, which are from a local roaster, but today the order is for a decaf coffee. So I got these ones here from Melitta, and I find that these are good beans too. So I'm just going to use this, and what I do is just put in 15 grams of beans, usually about 3 scoops. Oh, all right, 15.1 grams in there. Now my second tip is, what you want to do with these to get them to stick to the cap nicely is you want to wet these a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. There we go. So now that the filters are wetted, they stay stuck to the cap. That's really nice. Okay, and now AeroPress, they don't recommend, as far as I know, to do this upside down method. So what you can do instead is you can put this just like this, even out the bed. Since I have 2 filters in there, I'm hoping that it's not going to drip too much down into the cup. But I will show you a little tip to keep it from dripping down into the cup before the immersion is finished. 250, I usually aim for between 220 and 250 grams of water. I'm just going to give it a stir, and you can see what's happening is it is dripping in there, and I want the immersion to keep going actually before just dripping all the way through. So I'm going to put the plunger in a little bit and pull back up like that. And when I pull back up, now I've created a vacuum here in this top chamber. So therefore the rest of the extraction is going to be an immersion extraction, and then all we have to do is wait for about, I don't know, you can experiment here a little bit. Whether you wait a minute or so, or less or more than that, you're free to experiment. But what I feel like is that the AeroPress, with this immersion method and with the little bit of pressure that you're pressing down with, you got this big air chamber here. I feel like it gives a really tasty cup to pretty much any bean. Even something that's pre-ground, I'm able to get a better cup out of that compared to other brew methods in my experience. All right, so now all I gotta do is push down. And they say this should take about 30 seconds or so. It does require a fair amount of pressure to push down. And what I really like at the end is this hiss. Very nice. Okay, so that's it. Coffee is already finished. Super simple. That's probably one of the best things about the AeroPress. Really simple, really small. You can just store it just like this after you've cleaned it. And what I also really like is it's super easy to clean. All you gotta do is take the cap off, pop out the puck like that, and then just go rinse this under water and you're done. Super simple. And that's a good tasty coffee. A good amount of juiciness, to be honest. It is a pleasant cup of coffee. Nice and crisp. One other thing that I wanted to mention about the AeroPress is that these guys are very eclectic in their designs. So they don't have just this gray one, but they also have a new series, which is clear. Actually, I think I'm gonna buy a clear one next. They have different colors as well in that series. They got an XL model that's bigger than this if you want to make a larger coffee. They got an AeroPress Go. They got all kinds of stuff. So yeah, it's just a pretty nice, pretty portable brewer. Works well. And anyway, I hope that this video was interesting for you guys. Thanks very much for being with me for making this coffee. And until next time, I say happy coffee drinking and happy espresso drinking. Bye now.